Hi everyone, so today's lesson is on the area of a sector of a circle. Okay, so thinking back to the last lesson, we were looking at arc length. So this time we're talking about the area of a sector of a circle. So this is our sector here, so we're talking about all that area in there. Okay, so the first thing that you need to remember, which you should all know, is the formula to find the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. So r for radius, pi times radius squared. So again, just like before, we're not interested in the full circle, we're looking at a fraction of it. So it's going to be 70 out of a possible 360, because there's a full 360 in a circle, times by pi times by radius squared, which is 12 squared, times pi times radius squared, 12 squared. So that is going to equal 70 over 360 times by pi times 144. So into your calculator to simplify that. So 70 over 360 times 144. So that will give you a simplified 28 pi. And my units this time, centimeters squared. So in general, our formula that you need to remember this time is theta divided by 360 times pi r squared. So the area of a sector is equal to theta divided by 360 times pi r squared. So you're going to have to remember that, commit that to your memory. Okay. Right, let's jump into an example. So let's say I've got a radius of 5 and a radius of 10 centimeters. CM. Okay, so our radius is 5. So my I don't need my diameter this time actually. So let's just leave it as that. Our radius is 5 and our theta in this case, because we know it's a right angle, theta is 90. So in terms of pi, so start with your formula. So it's theta divided by 360 times pi r squared. So it's 90 divided by 360 times by pi times by radius squared times 25. Okay, so that'll give us 25 over 4. That'll simplify to a quarter, so 25 over 4 pi. You can leave it just like that. And my units this time, not centimeters, centimeters squared. Okay, so again, just like before in the last lesson, to find it to one decimal place, all you need to do is press your SD button over 4 pi equals. So to one decimal place, you will get 19.6 centimeters squared. Okay, so pause the video, have a go at the your turn, and then we'll go through it together. Okay, so just like before, start with your formula, theta over 360 times pi r squared. Fill in what we know, theta is 90 divided by 360 times pi times radius squared this time, which is times 100. Okay, so we've got 1/4 here, times by 100 gives me 25 pi. And my units again, centimeters squared. Again, for part 2, all you need to do is press your SD button to get to one decimal place, 78.5 centimeters squared. Okay, so the next example, let's have a go at this one. So this time it's not a right angle, so we've got our radius. Our radius is 15 and my theta this time is 120. Okay, so what we're going to do, start with our formula, theta divided by 360 times pi r squared. So theta this time we've got 120 divided by 360, which is going to give me a third, times pi times radius squared 225. Okay, so that will give me 75 pi in terms of pi centimeters squared. Okay, so to three significant figures then, 75 pi, press the SD button and you will get 236 to three significant figures. So what that SD button does, it does that calculation for you. It takes 75 and times it by pi to get 236 to three significant figures. Okay, so have a go at your turn, pause the video, have a go, and then we'll go through it in a moment. Right, okay, so we've got a radius of 4 here, and we've got theta, our angle is 30 degrees. Right, so again, start with your formula. So we've got theta over 360 times pi r squared. Fill in what we know, 30 over 360 times pi times by 4 squared, 16. There we go. 30 over 360 times 16, so it's 4 over 3 pi. Centimeters squared. Oops. Meters squared. Okay, so again, find part 2, finding the exact value to three significant figures. We do press our SD button and we get to three significant figures, 4.19 meters squared. Okay. Right, so again, just like before, when you do your test and when you do your quiz, there's going to be a question like this. So just be careful that you're taking the correct angle. Okay, so we're not interested in that 63. We're interested in that angle there. So our radius is 20. Our theta this time is 360. Like before, take away 63 is 297 degrees. Right. Okay, so start with your formula. Theta over 360 times pi r squared. Fill in what you know. So it's 297 over 360 times by pi times radius squared 400. Okay, into your calculator. So you got 297 over 360 times by 400 times by pi, which will give you 330 pi, and the units this time meters squared. Part 2, press your SD button, and to three significant figures this time we would get 1040 meters squared. Okay, so again, so next what you're going to do, you go to Heggerty Maths and do clip number 546 on area of a sector.